Hi, this is Dave and welcome to the Table, a series of videos where I review and discuss various board and card games, looking at them from a family perspective. Today we're going to be taking a look at Legendary Encounters. This is an alien deck building game from Upper Deck Entertainment, and this uses the Legendary deck building engine. This is a game for 1 to 5 players. You are working fully cooperative in this game, working to complete 3 objectives before you all die. So, a lot of interesting things in this game. Let me show you how it's played, and I'll come back and I'll give you my thoughts. Okay, so let's take a look at Legendary Encounters here, and I have the game set up already, and I'm going to go over the setup here. But in the game, you're going to have a whole bunch of cards that are going to be used here, and you get this play mat that has spaces for where the cards go and where all of the action is going to be taking place. Now, there's different things that you can do to play this game. You can play through the movies, which is what we're going to do here. We're going to, I have this set up to play through the movie Alien. And it has setups in here for Aliens, and then Alien 3, and then Alien Resurrection. So you have all 4 movies. You can play through them, or you can mix and match. But to play through Alien, the first thing that we need to do is we need to find the location card for Alien, which is the Nostromo. And you're going to place it in the location space on the game mat itself. And the information is going to be here. We've got some flavor text here, and then there are cards that will be popping up that will be hazards, and so this will tell you as each of the hazards pop up what's going to happen, and they go from bad to worse. The next thing that you need to do is you need to find the 3 objectives that you're going to be using. So if you're playing through the movies, these are the ones for Alien. Here we have objective number 1, which is the SOS. Objective 2, no one can hear you scream. And objective 3 is a perfect organism. And you're going to stack them on top of each other, and you're going to place them on the objective pile here. Next, you need to make up the hive deck, which is going to be where all the enemies come from. And so what how this is made is each of these objectives have their own mini deck of cards that come in the game. And so what you need to do is find the corresponding mini deck for each of these objectives, and you separate them out. So you'll have like objective 3, and then 2, and then 1. And what you're going to do is for each number of players, you're going to shuffle in cards from the drone deck here, which is, and they'll say right on the bottom here, drone deck. There's some text here, and these are going to be some of your additional, like, not so nice guys that are going to come and mess with you. And so you're going to take and shuffle in to each objective level the number, or 1 drone card per each player. So this is set up right here for a solitaire play, so there's 1 drone in each of the objectives, and then we're going to stack them up on top of each other. So we've got objective 3, and then 2, and then 1 is on the top. Next, we have this strike deck here, which is a number of cards here that this is going to be when these alien xenomorphs attack you, what kind of bad things are going to happen to you. Next, we have this hatchery deck here, which is going to have all of your face huggers here, and then we've got these chest bursters, and these are just placed face up here so you have a way to retrieve them in the game. And then finally, we have down on the bottom row here, we have these sergeants, which are shuffled up and they're face down, and the reason being is they have their own, they have different character class icons, which I will get to in a moment when we go over the cards, but so that's why they're shuffled up face down, so you don't really know which one you're going to get. And then finally over here we have the barracks, and the barracks is made up of 4 different characters. And so for example here in this particular movie we have Captain Dallas here, which will have a bunch of different cards from him, Navigator Lambert, Warrant Officer Ripley, and we have 1 more, which is Chief Engineer Parker. So we have all of these cards, and these are all shuffled up, and they are placed over in the barracks pile right here. So we still have a bunch of empty spaces here, which on the game board is where the action is going to go through, and I'm going to get into that in a minute. Each player then, once we have this set up, each player is going to receive their starting deck, which is going to be made up of specialists and grunts. So we're going to have 7 specialists and 5 grunts. And then each player is going to be dealt an avatar, which is going to be their character here. And for the sake of this demo, we're worried about this 9 right here, which is how much life we have before we die. So that's going to be placed in front of us. That's something new for Legendary, is you can be killed in this game. And then what's going to happen is that you're going to have that particular character has their own card, which is going to be shuffled into the starting deck here. So we have that, and we will be ready to go. Other spaces over here is if we have any dead enemies are over here. We've got a spot for discarded hazards and events, discarded strikes, and dead characters over here. We have a couple of locations here, which is the complex, which is where we're going to have these enemies coming from the hive, and they're going to be moving across the way there until they make it to the combat zone. And then operations here is where we want to try and complete some of our objectives, and then the HQ down here is going to be where our characters from the barracks are going to be coming out. So that covers the game board and a lot of the setup. Now let's talk about the cards in the game here, and this is one of the things that I wanted to show you was specifically one of the characters, and this one is from Alien 3. And so if we look down at the, it doesn't really say what it is on the bottom, but here's the character. We've got Francis 85 Aaron. And so if we look in the top corner here, we have some information there. And the information that we have is the crew icon, which is going to be right here. And then the specific one is going to be the character class. So those two things are going to have an effect on some of the things that come in the text down at the bottom. So we have the character's name here. And then we have his ability here. He's going to be able to deal 3 damage, so he has an attack value of 3. And to recruit him, he has a recruit cost of 3. So he's going to cost you basically 3 recruit points to get him. And then you have his text, and then down at the bottom here with these character class icons, they can trigger events. If another card is played, this will allow you to have this effect triggered. So that's going to be how the cards work in this particular game. Now let me get this going here, and I'll show you how the game is played. Okay, at the start of the game, what we're going to do here is we're going to reveal the top 5 cards from the barracks and place them in the HQ. So we have these cards here, which will be available for us to use recruit points in order to purchase them. One thing that I want to talk about here on these cards is this coordinate ability, which is going to allow players to play this off their turn to be able to assist other players in playing the game. So if there's somebody else you want to choose to coordinate, you would play this and they would allow to copy it, and then this would get discarded and you would draw a replacement card. So you can give up this card to draw another one, essentially to help somebody out. So we have that. So the other thing that we want to note here is at the start of the game, we've got these 3 objectives. So let's look at objective number 1 here, which says find both parts of the SOS. And so that's what we want to do there. And we have, this says event, rough landing. So anytime that an event gets triggered, it says you and the next player each draw a strike. And let's look at the this here too, because we have hazards that may show up here. And for example, here the first hazard says brought something back, and it's going to say add 2 hive cards to the complex, and each one here is going to have some nasty things that are going to happen. So they go from bad to worse here. So we're going to have those, pay attention to those things there. We're going to draw a starting hand of 6 cards, and we're going to have the first card come off of the hive deck here and start moving across the complex. And so these cards are going to be coming in face down, so you don't know what they are. However, you can use attack points to scan these rooms, or there's cards that can give you abilities to scan a room, and then you'd be able to flip it face up. So the further out, the more it costs. So this one costs 4 here all the way down to 2 here. And so what we're going to want to try to do, though, is try to avoid having any of these things make it to this combat zone, because once they come to the combat zone, they will reveal themselves, and then they're going to be able to attack you directly. So let's take a look here at the cards that I have, and I happen to have one grunt here, which is going to give me 1 attack value, and I happen to have 4 specialists that are going to each give me 1 recruit point, and then I have this card here that says draw a card, and once this turn you may, when you gain a character, you may put it on the top of your deck. So we'll draw an extra card here, which will give me another recruit point. So I have 5 recruit points. So I can go down here and I look at the different cards and their costs, and I think I'm going to gain this one here called Quarantine Procedure for 2, which is going to give me the ability to look at cards and kill them, and also give me 1 attack. As soon as I purchase a card, another one pops up and reveals itself here. And I have 3 left, and so I'm going to grab this motion detector here. And one of the neat things here is if I play another character card that has this scan ability, this scan icon like up here, this will allow me to scan any room, so I won't have to pay for it. So it's a really, really good card. So I'll flip this up here. So now that we've done that, all of the cards that have been played now will be moved to the discard pile. And I will draw a new hand of 6 cards, which I have right here, which is going to give me 4 grunts and 2 specialists. So now at the start of the next turn, what's going to happen is the next card is going to come off of the Hive deck here. So what's going to happen now is I have this 4 scan points, and so what I'm going to do are 4 attack points, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose to use them right now to scan this room. And so when I scan it, I'm going to reveal it right here. And so this says, this is an egg. And so it says this alien does not move or strike. And it says event here. So if an event pops up, kill this alien and put a face hugger from the hatchery in front of you. So this is going to sit there this whole time just staring at me and taunting me. Now I have 2 recruit points left, which I'm going to get this card here that's going to cost for 2, which will allow me to look at cards and put them at the top and bottom of the deck. So these are going to go over on my discard pile as well. I have now used all of my cards from my draw pile, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to shuffle them up, and I will draw a new hand of 6 cards. This card here that I purchased will be replaced as well. So now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cards here in my hand, which we will look at. And so now what's going to happen is this is not going to move. This is going to stay here. This is going to come over, and this one is going to jump over it. So that egg is going to sit there. And let's see here what we have. We have this draw a card, which I will do that. And I happen to have 2 grunts in my hand. I have 2 grunts, and I have 4 specialists. I have 4 recruit points, and I think I'm going to take this one here that says repair the ship. Place this one here. And these are going to go into my, and I think I'm going to place this now on top of my deck because of my card ability. It says once per turn when I gain a character I can put it on top of my deck. So the next thing here now, we push this over here, comes across. We have 6 cards in our hand. Let's take a look at what we have. We have repair the ship. It says when you draw a new hand at the end of your turn, if the power station is cleared, draw an extra card. It gives me 2 attack here, 3 attack, 4 attack, 5 attack, 6 attack, and 3 recruit points. So I'm going to spend 3 to scan this power station and see what happens. And this is another egg. And so what I'm going to do is use the remaining 3 power that I have to kill this egg. And so I'm going to put this over here in the dead enemies pile. And I have 3 recruit points, and so I guess maybe I'll just grab a sergeant and I will put it in my discard pile over here. Draw 6 new cards again. So going through the deck, building it up, as you can see, it's why it's called a deck building game. Let me shuffle these up and we'll move on to the next turn here. So I want to show you what a few of these things are going to happen now as we're starting to build some tension in the game. We're starting to have cards moving closer to the combat zone. This is going to come across here. We have draw a card. If I get a character, I can put it on top. I have this one, 2 attack, 3 attack, and have this one here. You look at the top. Look at the top 2 cards of the barracks. Put one on the bottom and one back on the top. So let's see. What do we have here? Oh, we'll take this. We'll take the Ripley. Put her on top. Put the other one on the bottom. So we have 4 purchasing power, which we're going to grab this one here. Let's find it and kill it. Goes in the discard pile here. And for 3, I'm going to scan this power station here. It's another egg. So we've got a couple of eggs that are out there. This is not good. We go through all these cards here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These push over here. This one comes over. We happen to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 3. So I have 5 and 3, 5 recruit points and 3 attack. And I'm going to kill one of these eggs here. And for 5, I will gain this one here, this first aid. Flip this over here. And I don't have enough to do anything else. That's just going to go. What's going to happen now is this power station, because the one card it's empty, I'll be able to draw an extra card. So I'll have 7 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I need to draw 2 more, so I have 7 cards this turn because of the bonus. Because I had my one character that he has an ability that at the end of your turn, when you go to draw up your card of your hand of cards, if the power station is empty, draw 1 extra card. So I will be able to do that. So I have, there's 5, 6, 7. Okay. This one's going to come across here. We have let's see, 2 attack, 2 recruit, 4 recruit, 5 recruit, and 4 here. I don't like these eggs. I'm going to spend it to kill this right here. And I happen to have 5 recruit points here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I grab this guy here because it's all I can afford. Draw this up here. These will all go in the discard pile. Alright. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Next turn here, this comes across, so you can see here we've got all of the cards are across there. Now we're going to be starting to get into trouble. I have 3 recruit points so far here. Look at the top 2 cards. Put one on the top, one on the bottom. I'll put this motion detector on the top, put the other one on the bottom. Try to manipulate the deck here. Let's see. This one here is 2 more recruit points, and I can have an ability to heal, which that's not going to help me right now. And then I have 3 scan there. 3 attack, I'm sorry. So I have 5 here. I can't really buy anything except for this guy here. So I'll put another one out. And I'm going to scan one of these rooms here. This is going to be hazard. Now, when this hazard comes up, we're going to put this over here. And this says add 2 hive, hazard number 1, brought something back, add 2 hive cards to the complex. So here's 1. And the second one now is going to come across and it's going to push this one down into the attack zone. Here, whoops. The attack zone. And automatically it's going to reveal itself here. And now it flips up and it says acid spray xenomorph, and it takes 2 to kill it. And then when it dies, each player then kills one of their characters. So it's going to go all the way to the right here. I used all of my attack here to scan a room, so I have nothing to attack it with, and I already used stuff to buy a card here, so this is all going to go in the discard pile. Now what's going to happen is we have an alien in here, and he's going to attack me, so what's going to happen is I will draw a strike. And first thing that happens here is this face hugger. It says put this in front of you. Any player can fight it on their turn. If it's still alive at the end of the next turn, kill it and gain a chest burster from the hatchery. So now what's going to happen is I have to get rid of that at the end of of my turn, or it would be the next player's turn, the end of the next player's turn. We have 2 shots to get rid of this. Since I'm playing a solitaire version, I have 2 chances to get rid of this. Otherwise, it's going to impregnate me, and it's going to be really, really bad. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So now I have 6 cards here in my hand. What's going to happen is we have another one coming off the hive. So now we reveal another one, which is going to be this egg here. So it's going to be, let's see, what do we have here? Well, I have draw a card. And so I have this 3 attack here, which I'm going to use to get rid of this face hugger. So this one gets destroyed. It goes up in the dead discarded strike over there because that was from the strike deck. And I happen to have this one here. I have this scanning icon here. When I play this card here, it says you may scan any room. So let me scan this one here. And we have this ambushed medic, which is going to be an alien that's going to be coming across. And I have 3 recruits here, which I'm going to get this motion detector here. Flip this up. So as you can see, we're building our engine here. Now that we've reached the end of our turn, what's going to happen is we have another attack here. So what's going to happen is this xenomorph here is going to attack. So I draw another strike. This is a massive blow here, and it's going to deal 5 damage to me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place this underneath my avatar here, and so now I went from 9 life down to 4 life. So, and this is going to keep attacking me until I destroy it. And unfortunately, I had that face hugger that was on me, and I didn't want to get impregnated. So it's really kind of having this battle going on. So we draw back up the 6 cards here, and what's going to happen now is we're going to have another one come into here, and here's an event. As these all shift over here. And so what's going to happen here with this event is we're going to just draw a strike because of the SOS, which is going to be a contaminated gash. It's going to give me 2, and it cannot be healed. And so that's going to put me at 7 life. And now what's going to happen is on this event it says kill this alien and put a face hugger from the hatchery in front of you. So I'm going to do that. And so here we go again with another thing that we have to get rid of before it impregnates me. So let's see what we have here. We'll play this one, draw a card, and we have, looks like we have lots of attack this turn. So I have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 1. So I have 7 fight points, so I'll spend the 3 to kill this face hugger over here. So we'll just put that back in the hatchery there. Actually, let's go in the dead enemies pile. And so that'll take care of 3 of them. I still have 4 left. And I will just kill this ambushed medic. And what this says here when it dies is death. You may heal any strike. And so for me, I'm going to get rid of this massive blow. And so that will put me back in good shape. And so we destroyed that one there, and we kind of clear off our cards. And at the end of the turn here, I forgot to attack that one, so now I'm going to draw a strike from this one, and gives me another deep gash for 2 points. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So next turn here, we flip this over here, and we look on our turn. We have 1 here. I may look at the top card of my player's deck. I may kill it or put it back. I think I'm going to kill this specialist here. I want to start thinning out my deck here. Let's see here. Motion detector is going to give me 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I think I'm going to get this You Are My Lucky Star card for 6. That'll be good. And we'll put this in my deck here. I didn't have any attack this turn, so unfortunately Now, going to draw another strike here. Close call, no damage, discard this. We move down here, now we reveal another one of these. And for us, luckily, this was a good thing because we found part of the SOS, which is part of our objective. So we move this over into the operations pile here. So we're halfway to completing the first objective. And we have 6 cards again. And we have some more, let's see, 1, 2, 4. Look at the top 2 cards of the barracks. Put one on the top, one on the bottom. Put this on the top, this one on the bottom. So 4, 5, 6. So we have 6 purchasing and 3 attack. So for 6, I'm going to take this review the nav. Well, let's take this one here. You are my lucky star over here. Pull another one out. And using my 3, I'm going to scan this one here. It's another hazard. This is the second hazard now. What this says is it's loose. Put the top card of the hive into the combat zone. So this is going to give me Shedding Skin Xenomorph, and he's going to have an attack value of 4. But now when he's in the combat zone, he has a +3. So it's going to take 7 to kill him. So now I have 2 creatures in the attack zone. So now what's going to happen is I'm going to draw 2 strike cards. One for this one for this one. So we have one here, which was a close call, no damage. And another close call, no damage. So very, very lucky on that there. So let's draw 6 cards. There's 3 there. This is getting crazy here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, so let's see what we have here. We have, all right. We have this, avoid the next strike. You would draw this turn if I play another card. So let me play one of this motion detector here. So we have that particular symbol right there, so I'm going to play it. The next one here, this triggers the ability, so if I get a strike, I would avoid the next one. And so this is going to give me a coordinate 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to spend the 9 and I'm going to clear out these 2 creatures in the combat zone with all of my attack. And I have a whopping 2 here that I'm going to buy this quarantine procedure and flip this up here. And the next thing we're going to do is have this one move over there. And we're going to draw cards here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Draw a card. Here we go. Look at the top 2 cards. Put one on the top, one on the bottom. We'll put this one on the bottom, one back on the top here. 3, 4. So I have 5 recruit points and 3 scan. I'm going to scan this one here for 2. Here's the other part of the SOS. So now we've completed that particular objective. So now what happens is once you've found both parts of the SOS, discard them and complete the objective. So now we've done that. So now what's going to happen is we're going to move on to our next objective here, which is going to be block the ventilation shafts. And so we'll purchase some cards down here for 4. And that's going to end this turn here. So as you can see now, what's going to happen is we're going to continue on playing through, trying to complete these different objectives and trying to stay alive. If we have a face hugger that kind of impregnates us, a chest burster goes in here. But what's going to happen is now you're not going to get attacked because new face huggers will jump onto the next player because now you're part of the family. And so this happens when you draw this card. If you can't get rid of it, you suffer extreme pain and die. So you don't want to have one of those. But essentially, as you can see, you don't really know what's coming along here, and you're wanting to try to complete these objectives. And so it just gets harder and harder as you move across the game here. And so as we've already had 2 hazards here coming across, the third one is not really good, and we still have 2 objectives to go. So as you can see here, I'm basically half alive right now. I have one that can't be healed, but this is how you play Legendary Encounters. Alright, let's talk about Legendary Encounters here, and thank you for bearing with me as I went through that partial playthrough to get through the first objective. I wanted you to at least get an idea of how the game is played and see some of the tension as cards are moving across the complex and you're starting to have cards in the combat zone, and just see how bad that can be when things start ganging up on you, because that can happen in this game. Now, let me get my two beefs about this game out of the way, and then I'm going to talk about the rest of it, which I love. Number one, the big complaint here is that when you open up this box and you start opening up all of the card packages inside there, they're not really organized in any specific way, and so it's going to take you about 45 minutes to go through and sort all the cards and make sure that you have them all properly. And so you're going to have cards all over. But once you get through that, it's worth it. And then the second thing was that the game comes with the playmat, and I think that they should have had a little note below where the sergeants were of what the recruit cost was, because the cards are face down, so you don't get a chance to see the cost icon on there. And if you don't remember that it's 3, or if you're a new player, you're going to be looking in the rule book trying to figure out how much they cost. So just wish that they had done that on there. Now, I love this game. And that's a very strong statement for me, because I had purchased the Marvel Legendary deck building game, and I ended up trading it away because I thought it was too cumbersome to set up, and I didn't really know a lot of the Marvel characters, so I guess I just didn't get it. I knew some of them, but not all of them, and it just seemed like trying to put things together. You had to use a randomizer, and it just seemed to be too much work to try and set the game up to play it. But that changes with this game, and the first thing that is a major relief here is the fact that we have now gone to these objectives. So now you have these objectives, and each of them has their own mini deck, and so it keeps it thematically sound. And then also, you know, if you're going to play with the SOS, then you need to get the SOS cards as one of your objectives. And the same thing here, like No One Can Hear You Scream. This has its own set of cards, and then finally A Perfect Organism has its own set of cards. So it keeps it thematically sound, and then it just also makes it really easy that those are the cards that you're going to use. You're not going to have to go around going, oh, what am I going to play? What am I going to match up with this one and that one? It just makes it really easy. And the thing that makes it even better is if you organize your cards by the movies, which is what I did, and thank you to Tim Norris of Grey Elephant Gaming, because he did a video that showed how he organized his cards, and that's how I did it, and makes the setup for this game literally take about less than 5 minutes to get this game set up, because stored everything by the movie, meaning they had their whole Hive deck put together, and they had the barracks cards from all the characters from the Alien movie all together. You just pull them out, separate them really quickly, shuffle in your drones, and put the hatchery cards out and the other stuff, and you're ready to go. So I love that. It just cuts the setup time immensely. So I love that they did that with the objectives. So I like that. And then the other thing that I really love about this game, and it just seems like, you know, it's like one silly rule change, or how you can make things come across by taking cards that come off of the Hive deck and you just have them come across face down. That, to me, you know, as simple as it seems, is brilliant in the fact that that's how you built the whole suspense and terror that you're accustomed to in the Alien movies. Because all the time you never really knew what was going on, and you're sitting on the edge of your seat wondering when the aliens are going to come out, especially like the first time watching Alien or Aliens. It's just, you know, it does a great job of recreating this in this game setting, is that you're coming across there and, you know, you have the ability to scan a room, but sometimes, you know, if you scan a room, you don't know if it's going to be good or bad. Sometimes it's good. You know, sometimes you can find parts of your objective. Other times you're going to trigger events or hazards that are going to pop up that are just going to be, that could potentially be devastating. So you don't know, and so there's that whole tension of like, I don't know what's coming up, and so that it just adds that in the game just by having cards coming across face down. It's simply, I find that just a really cool. Just one rule change just simply makes this game that much better. And now, talking about the cards and how this game plays, it's fully cooperative. So the cards themselves don't even have victory point values attached to them. So there's no competitiveness whatsoever in this game. And so you have to work together. And in this game, you really do. And you feel like you're part of the crew. And there's a lot of interaction. And the ability now with these coordinate cards to be able to play cards when it's not your turn to help out your other players is huge. So it feels like everybody's contributing and making this a group effort to take down these xenomorphs and to be able to complete your objective. So that is a great thing. They've added some new other mechanics in here where some of the cards are vigilant, where they're going to stay out one extra turn, so they don't necessarily go away. And you've got some other cool things that are in there. And then of course, in the legendary game engine, you do have the character class icons up here that are going to show up down in the text on some of these cards that are going to trigger different effects. And so what it's going to do then is kind of help you to be a little bit more focused on the cards that you are acquiring and building your deck so that you can develop that card synergy. So that comes through from the first Marvel Legendary into Legendary Encounters, and I really like that, and it really helps you in this game because the more synergy that you have, the better it's going to be for yourself, and then also being able to help your opponents too in this. You've got this strike deck in here, which can be you can be really lucky like I did, or it can be extremely merciless, because there's a couple of things in here that it can deal massive amounts of damage, and if you're already hurt, it can take you out. And in this game, characters do die. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. If you watching the movies, you see lots of people dying, and that's going to happen in this game too. So don't be discouraged if this game kicks your butt, but you know what? If it was easy, it wouldn't be any fun to play. And so one of the other cool things in here is that if you die, you have the option to come back and play as an alien and trying to kill all the rest of the players. And so you will draw an alien avatar just like you would a normal player. You'll have one of these. And you use an alien deck, and you will be playing cards off of there, going around trying to kill off the other players. So now you have a team of players that are working together to complete their objectives and facing the game, as well as now somebody else that's playing against them. So it can be extremely intense. And then one of the other things that you can do is that they do have these hidden agendas that you can play with, where you could essentially be a traitor. And that comes about in the movies, in the Alien movies. There's always somebody who's been trying to exploit these xenomorphs and trying to come up with their own personal gain, and at the expense of looking out for themselves and not caring about anybody else or what could happen. And that comes across in this game too, so you have that option. So you have the ability to have advanced play. So you can play as an alien player, you can have the hidden agendas, you can have both. There's variations in here on how to adjust the difficulty of this game, so it's going to offer a lot of replayability. And not only that, you know, besides playing through the movies, which you can do, each of the movies they'll give in the rule book. It gives you all of the instructions on how to which objectives to use for each of the movies. You can choose to mix and match and create your own alien adventures, as long as you follow the guidelines of using an Objective 1, an Objective 2, and Objective 3. And then you can choose any 4 characters that you want. So if you wanted to play all Ripleys, you can play the Ripley character from all 4 movies and see how she does playing in this game. So you have lots of potential, lots of replayability here. This game is awesome. Looking at this game from a family perspective, boy, you want to talk about something that's going to develop teamwork. This is going to develop teamwork. This game, though, definitely you want to play with teenagers on up, because there's some of the flavor text may have some words on there that may not necessarily need to be seen by some younger eyes. Just some quotes from the movies. And some of the artwork can be a little scary because there's blood and stuff in there from the movies. So be a little discretionary when choosing to play this with younger players. But the overall thing is, if you're developing teamwork in here and having to work together and being able to discuss things, and really that coordinate mechanic really just adds a lot to this game and just makes it phenomenal. To me, like I said, this is the best deck building game that I have played. It's so challenging. It's so tense. It's awesome. And every time that I play this game, I really sit down and I feel like I'm in the movies. And so I really love that. It just adds an overall experience. So I high praises for Legendary Encounters. This is definitely worth the investment. I mean, you get a play mat in the game, which is really, really cool. Lots of awesome artwork and a great game experience. So definitely add this one to your library. All right, that's it for now, and join me again next time as we look at another game and we see how it makes it to the table.